everybody, and welcome to my drawing tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how I draw furry heads. This is just how I draw with my style, and I've been drawing for a really long time. So let's get started. Hello, so for the most of this tutorial we'll be drawing digitally, but I will have some parts that I will show traditionally. This can work with either or. I'm not going to be messing with like layers or anything like that, like this, that are specifically on drawing digitally. And then I could show a few examples of different animals and sonas. Each animal is different, so it really depends on your own research or if you're looking at reference images. I will have a few sonas at the end that are free for all that you guys can practice with if you don't have one yourself. This is a sona I made for an online friend, so I'll be drawing this one. And I'm gonna switch my pen that I'm using to be more like a pencil, kind of the matte traditional. It's just gonna be sketching for the most part. So the first step I usually do is to draw a circle. Now, drawing a perfect circle is near impossible, I'll say. One thing I learned when I was in college is that as humans, we can't really draw anything perfectly. Like a straight line is imperfect. All circles we draw won't be perfect. Without a tool, at least. I'll put a video up on how I draw a circle and the motion I use. I kind of draw it more quickly. Definitely practice drawing circles. It's a good exercise. It's a lot of wrist motion. So I usually start with a circle for the head shape. And then for the second step, I draw a line for the middle of the face. So if I want them to be facing forward, this is going to be the middle of the face. You could draw it curved, you could draw it straight. Say I wanted the character to be looking more to the side, I would draw the line over here. Or if I want it looking more to the other side, I'll draw it here. Forward. And then for the step after that, I will draw the line for the eyes, like this. So the eyes will go along this, kind of like that. So if I were to draw again, here's my circle, and then here's the middle if I want it towards the side, and here's where the eyes will be. And then for the front, it could look like this. And then for the other side, it could look like this. And then all kinds of motion, like if I wanted the character looking down or up. Just the simple plus sign will be kind of the base of the structure of the face. The next is the eyes, and I'll put up on my editor just some examples of eyes that I usually use, but just do your own research. I like to use Pinterest. Look up eyes, practice drawing eyes. But with the guides I drew, the eyes would be along this line. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's really almost impossible to make things completely perfect. But since the eyes are kind of like an upside down half circle, I will draw them along this. And if I think they're too big, which I think they are, you could just undo or erase. So I'll make them a little bit smaller. There we go. And I'll add in the pupils there, and then in the eyes I have that little line in the middle, so I'll do it like that. And I have like little marks above the eye, like that. Next is the nose, and I usually do that like a little bit below the eyes, like I'll put the nose right here, just a little bit below that center. There's a bunch of different nose styles, really just depends on the character or animal you are drawing. And the mouth will always go right below the nose. Of course, there's a bunch of different mouths you could do. The mouth I see in a lot of like personas and furry character drawings is a upside down 3 or the rotated 3. And there's your face. Now the ears also depend on the type of creature or animal you are drawing. Since this character is a dog, I will be drawing their ears like this. Going up like that. There's other different types of ears that you could draw, like more cat-like or wolf-like. I draw my Sona's ears. Since my Sona's a hyena, I draw my ears like this. There's just several different types of ears. And I'll put the other ear just on this side of the head, like that. Alright, so there's your furry head. And then next is to add all the details you want. So you can see on this character, he has a little like hair. So the first part goes like this. And goes like this. With drawing fur, it's a bit hard and it takes some practice. You'll definitely get used to it. Drawing takes practice. There's a little like purple thing right here. And as you're going, if it looks too crowded with the lines from the guides, you could take your eraser and then just clear it up a little bit. I'm gonna continue drawing the hair. Most hair I like to draw in chunks. So think of like a head here. I usually draw like a chunk off the front. Usually like 2 chunks beside and then chunks near the back. Usually I do like a swoop motion like this, or even a smaller one like that. So I can do that, that, that. It's all kind of like a flow motion, if you get me. Like that. It just takes practice. Add a little cheek fluff, since this character has some cheek fluff. And then I can add the neck, which the neck I usually do with 2 lines like that. I can erase the rest of the guides for the face. And then you can see I left out some details on the face. It just depends on if you're making your own character. This is like an example. I have like different coloration on this now. And then it comes down like this. And then it has like little triangles under his eyes. Be creative if you're making your own Sona based off of this. Add lines, add spots. Look up different ideas on your characters. Of course, I'll have a couple that you guys can practice with. Drawing some spots based on how the ears look. And then the last thing this character has is a little piercing right here on the ear. And then there's the head of my friend Sona. Now here's my Sona. I'm going to do that process again just a little bit faster. So since my Sona is a hyena, I drew the ears differently. Each style draws their ears differently, but it's just based on you and what you feel comfortable doing. I'm going to put Roxy looking a little bit to the side. I'm going to draw their eyes. And their nose is a bit bigger since hyenas have big old boop bowl noses. And their mouth. Sometimes it is easier to round out the snout before the mouth. But again, just depends on what you feel is best for you. Sometimes I draw the snout before, so if I were to do it like this, which I think looks better, I draw the mouth like that. And next is the ears. Like I said earlier, they're a bit different than my friend Sona, since Roxy is a hyena. So I'm gonna go ahead and then draw their ears. Now I'm gonna draw the little accessories and extra fluff. So I'm gonna do the cheek fluff first. And then I'm gonna draw their head floof. Put on the details I have on their face and erase some of the guides. I'm gonna add a little floof inside the ears, and I have a little cheek circle, and since I'm very tired, I have a little line right here. Just matches. And the little dots I have as my eyebrows. There we go. I also have dots right above my mouth. And of course, last but not least, I'll add the neck, and then some piercings that I have. And there's a head of Roxy. Now for the neck, you can do 2 lines like this, but I have a friend who has a Sona where the neck is more thicker and comes down in a little floof like that. That also works. My character doesn't have much neck floof, so it just comes down straight to my shoulders like that. And then same with the character over here, and that comes down to his shoulders right there. And I usually draw like a little shirt or clothes or whatever you want. Roxy has a little back fluff though right there. Just depends on the Sona you want. If you want your character to have a fluffier Sona, you could do something like this, or if you want it to be skinnier and less floofy, you could do something like that. It just kind of depends on what you're drawing. I'll have some mixtures of both styles that you can practice in of Sonas. I have a couple. They're free reign, I made them, so feel free to draw with them. Just don't claim that they're own. Just be like, hey, I'm just using this for practice. And that's how I draw furry characters. I hope this video helped a little bit. I could cover some of the other ways I draw, like doing line art and stuff like that, stuff that's more detailed other than just sketching. Maybe I can make my own little series out of it, you never know. The more you practice, the more you get good at it. I've been drawing for years and I'm still not perfect. Everyone has their own journey and getting good at art, and as long as you're practicing and making art and not using generative AI, your art is good in my book. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. I hope it helps at least some of you. I'll put the characters that you guys can practice with up here, and maybe if this goes well, I'll keep making these and show you how I draw some of my artwork. Give your fishy a like and subscribe maybe, or even a share. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day.